Hey booktube! My name is the Book Mage, welcome back to my channel, and oh dear god, I think this is going to be my largest book haul video ever. Didn't plan it that way, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the biggest haul I have ever done on my channel. I think if I've counted the ones that I remember in my head correctly, there's like over 60 books here, which is already insane. However, the thing that makes this exceptionally crazy for me for a book haul is every single book that I am hauling today, all 60 something of them, are all special editions. So they're all like signed, sprayed or foiled or have alternate covers, or there's something special edition-y about them. I feel like I need to preface by saying that this is not like me just buying so many books all of a sudden. I have not unboxed a lot of my like special edition subscription boxes since like last year, and by that I mean like 2021. I probably have at least like 12 Goldsboro books to unbox, a bunch of Fairyloot, Illumicrate, Broken Binding. I think there's Waterstones special editions, Anderida Books, Dragonsteel. There's a lot in here. They've just been sat in my room for like a year, and in my stupid little brain I thought I'll just unbox all my special editions in one video, not realising that there's over 60 of them because it's been like a year since I've done an unboxing for special editions. So I feel like this is going to be my longest video ever. I feel like this is going to be my most hectic video ever. I don't know how I'm going to display them behind me, so we're going to have to figure that out as we go. I cannot promise there will actually be a solution to those problems, so I need to get started. I feel like I might have to do this in batches because there are so many books and so many are still in boxes. So yeah, I had better get started, but like, if you like special edition sci-fi and fantasy books, this is definitely the video for you. Okay, you can't see it, but there are like piles of books and boxes around me, so I'm going to start with this Waterstones one. And so the first book in my haul today is The Book Eaters by Sonia Dean. And this is the Waterstones edition with black sprayed edges. This is also going to be the video where I forget all 60 book synopses. So I feel like this has to do with like a family of like people who, I guess, eat books, if the title is to be believed. And I think that like a woman in the family has a son, and he's like this other kind of like magical being that I guess threatens like whatever sort of safety this family has. More than that, I don't know. I'm not very into like mother-child stories, but this one looked gothic and it's called The Book Eaters, and I feel like I now also have so many books that in this economy I'm gonna need to start eating them, so I should have foreseen that there would be a lot of bubble wrap in this video. Okay, so this might actually be like the most stunning set in here, but I feel like we'll have to decide that at the end. So the next books in my haul are the Broken Binding special edition hardcover set of the First Law trilogy. So that is book 1, The Blade Itself, and it is wonderfully shiny, and I love these cover designs, seeing as they're kind of like in keeping with like the paperback. And then there is book 2, Before They Are Hanged, and I think this might be my favourite cover of the set. And then book 3, Last Argument of Kings, all by Joe Abercrombie. So this set does come with some like interesting stenciled sprayed edges, and I'm pretty sure they all have, yep, they all come with this beautiful like foiled design and a quote on the spine. So there are the quotes for all 3 books, and this set really does just look wonderful. I've already been filming for so long and we're like only 4 books down. I need to pick up the pace. Okay, so the next book that is in my stack, I believe this is the Goldsboro special edition, and this is Absinthe by Brendan P. Belcourt. So this looks like it's going to be a sci-fi set in Chicago in the 20s. There's a lot in the synopsis to do with like post-war and like technology. More than that I don't know, but it does have these sprayed and stenciled edges, and also this sort of like art deco foiling on the front. Okay, next is not even a book I remembered I'd purchased, but this is the Waterstones special edition of Bladebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I believe this is book 2, I think book 1 is called Realmbreaker. So this edition has lovely stenciled edges. It's signed, oh, and I don't know if this is coming in the standard edition as well, but it has lovely coloured maps as end papers. I love when books have the map as like the end papers. I just love maps in books. So I have not read book 1, so I cannot really tell you what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's like a fairly generic YA fantasy. More than that, I don't really know, but I'm going to make use of this stack of boxes and put it here. Ooh, okay, this one is also a lovely special edition. So that is this lovely edition of June by Frank Herbert. But I adore this edition. Like, this is beautiful. The colours are stunning. Like, this is just one of my favourite colours. I love like aqua, teal, cyan kind of blues. And I think this is just like a really nice collectible edition. I think this is just the first book. The font's pretty big. I think this is just the first book. Okay, the next special edition in my haul is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. And this, I'm pretty sure, is the Goldsboro special edition, and I know that I have book 2, also in special edition. I do not know where it is, so at some point in this haul, I'm going to unbox book 2. So this one has a lovely shiny foil design, and again, the map is the end papers, which, as I've said, I love that. Most of Goldsboro's books don't come with foiling, they just come with sprayed edges, so I don't know if this is like an extra special edition, or if it's just that the books that do come with foiling as standard. So I think this is like an Asian-inspired dystopian fantasy, and I think there are like 2 siblings on either side of like a grand war. I think one of them is probably kind of like a rebel, and then one of them is part of this like dystopian order. Not 100% sure, but that's vaguely what I remember. I am never going to have space for all of these behind me. Okay, I can see like a billion Goldsboro books and like a billion Fairyloot boxes behind me, so I guess let's do some subscription boxes. Okay, so I've got some Goldsboro books to unbox. I honestly don't even want to think about like how I'm going to take a thumbnail for this video. I know my room is going to be trashed by the end of this as well. I did not think this through. Goldsboro always includes so much bubble wrap. Look at all this just for one book. This is the rest of my life now. Okay, that was worth it though, seeing as this edition comes with a slipcase, which is not something that normally comes with Goldsboro books. So this is The Final Strife by Sarah El Arifi, and this has a really beautiful red foil design on the slipcase. And then I think the same design there in reverse on the book in red and silver. Honestly, this is a really lovely edition of the book. To say it doesn't have sprayed edges, I think I prefer foiled books to sprayed edges. I just think I like foils better. And this book features some character artwork as the end papers. It does not come with a dust jacket, however, so and because there's no dust jacket, I can't tell you what this is about because there's no synopsis anywhere. So I mean, not that I do a good job of that anyway, but back to bubble wrap hell. But this is a very pretty book. This is Mindwalker by Kate Dillon, and this definitely looks like a sci-fi. I love this cover though, and like the purple edges. I think I always forget just how much I like purple until I see a lot of purple. It's a very underrated colour. And this has, again, lovely foiling on the front. I love this. It makes it feel like it could be a prop from this sci-fi universe. I love when books do that. So this looks like it might be a YA. It looks like the main character is like implanted with tech and it's fast running out. And after a mission goes south, it looks like she's going to be branded a traitor from the company that she works for. So it seems pretty like standard basic YA, and it's very short, but this is a lovely edition and I probably will read something like this. Okay, so our next Goldsboro special edition is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, and this is a chonky book. I really like the sprayed edges. I love crows and corvids and things. I myself am a grubby little magpie, as you can tell by the fact that I can't not buy anything shiny. This does have like some nice like little foil stamps on the spine, but like the actual hardcover itself and like the end papers are just blank. This is much more like what a Goldsboro special edition is normally like. They just tend to have sprayed edges. However, this one has come with a lovely leather bookmark. How cute is that? It's a little corvid in like a night sky. I love that. I will definitely use this, despite the fact that it kind of smells bad, but I will still use this. I'm pretty sure this is not generally the kind of book I gravitate towards. I think it's like some sort of school or orphanage or something for like, I don't know, weird magical children, and unpopular opinion, but I just cannot bring myself to read any sort of book about like groups of children. It sounds harsh, I just do not care about children as characters, like, but the book itself is very pretty. I feel like after this one I'm gonna need a break from Goldsboro because the amount of bubble wrap in my room right now, absolutely shameful. Okay, so the next book in my haul is Lost in Time by A.G. Riddle, and I think I do remember seeing the email that came out like way before this one was released. So I believe this story follows like a man who's accused of a crime and as punishment is sent like millions of years back into the past to the time when dinosaurs roamed the earth, and it's about like him there and then his daughter still in the future trying to like figure out how to clear his name or something. And it has extremely interesting sprayed edges. I really do love the purple. Again, I think I just like purple, guys. And there's some very nice foiling on the front. But again, and I don't know if it's just me, but like, I really don't like dinosaurs. I just really don't think this one is for me. I appreciate, like, I don't think dinosaurs are done a lot, and I feel like they are an objectively cool kind of thing to put in a story. It's just not for me. But a very nice edition though. I am running out of space. Okay. Okay, there's even more than this, but like, this is what I can carry at once. So I actually unboxed a whole bunch of these Fairyloot books for a different video that went disastrously. But it might still come out in the future, but probably the very distant future, so luckily that means I don't actually have to open the boxes or like discard of like all like the little paper noodlies inside. So our first Fairyloot unboxing is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This comes with like, honestly, quite a nice like alternative white cover. I do prefer the black cover, but maybe it's just because it's Christmas now, but like with like the white and the silver and the gold stars, this looks very Christmassy to me. These sprayed edges are beautiful though. And the book has the fantastic, like, original design of the cover, like, printed onto the actual boards, plus some character artwork as the end papers. So this is a really lovely special edition, and I have actually read Babel, which makes a change. So this follows a young man called Robin as he's whisked away from his home in Canton by an Oxford University professor who brings him back to London and then to Oxford, where he's to study this like semi-magical technique to do with language and linguistics that essentially turns words in different languages on bars of silver into basically magic. It's a lot about like race and colonialism, and not a dark academia in my opinion, but yeah, definitely a very lovely, very shiny edition. The next Fairyloot special edition has a weird smudge on it, but I'm going to ignore that. And this is City of Dusk by Tara Sim, and this one has black sprayed edges and gold foiling under the dust jacket. So I don't actually know very much about this one, but I'm pretty sure it's like, I think it's meant to be adult, but to be honest, this gives me such YA vibes. But I think it's to do with like a main character who's maybe like a necromancer, or this book is to do with necromancy, I'm sure it is. Yes, necromancy, elementalists, shadow wielding, and this is the first in an epic fantasy trilogy. So I will say I much prefer like the original black cover for this book. It's about necromancy and shadow magic, like it should have a black cover. That's just my own personal opinion. I wish they had not like colour swapped this, but I don't care enough to go out and get like the original edition. So okay, the next special edition, oh, this one, slightly controversial. It is Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, and I feel like, I'm pretty sure the main character like used to be like the poster girl for this like dystopian society, and I guess is now figuring out that, bitch, you live in a dystopian society. There's something about like a missing child in this. What I will say is the Fairyloot box is 100% called the Fairyloot Adult Fantasy Box, and I double checked this, like I double checked all of my emails, and when I signed up for it they definitely all say adult fantasy. This is not an adult fantasy, this is just like a random dystopian novel. I was very confused to receive, I'll tell you now, because I don't know, I feel like if I buy a fantasy, like, don't send me a dystopia when I've purchased like a fantasy subscription box. Rant out of the way, it is like a pretty edition. I just will never read it because I don't really read dystopian fiction, especially not when it's like if you're trying to make me care about a child as part of the plot, it's just not going to happen. And again, that annoys me because this haul is meant to be nothing but sci-fi and fantasy, and it would be, but like, why is that here? I feel like that's a very odd choice for the adult fantasy box. Maybe just my opinion, but like, it just seems a bit sketch to me. Anyway, the next book in my haul is this lovely edition of the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Again, this one has lovely stenciled edges, character artwork on the end papers, and a foiling on the front. I feel like Fairyloot special editions are like always like some of the prettiest, like compared to Goldsboro that don't tend to do very much to their special editions other than like a sprayed edge and like a mylar sleeve. Fairyloot tend to go all out on especially the foiling. I think they go very heavy on the foils, which I appreciate as a girl that likes shiny things. I will say I think I do prefer the original black cover, but I like that it isn't white. I like that it's this like sort of cream colour. This, I don't know much about this. I think it follows like 6 young people that all have maybe like magical powers, and it's something to do with being accepted into like a secret society or something, and one of them is not going to make it or something. Look, we all know I never know the synopses, so I'm not going to start now. And this one is another lovely Fairyloot edition, but this was not part of the subscription service. This is a standalone. And that is this edition of The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. So this is a very shiny black and red book with a quote on the back. It does not come with a dust jacket, but it does have wonderful bloody drippy sprayed edges and these very gothic like character artworks for the end papers. I really love those. I don't really do character artwork, but I appreciate the goth vibes very much. I'm pretty sure this follows like a girl who is a vampire, which is the reason that I bought it, because I'm intending to read a lot more vampire literature in the future. And I don't know very much more about it than that. I think it's set in modern day, or at least when this was published. It might be like another dystopia, I don't really know. But I picked this up because I liked Holly Black's The Folk of Air trilogy, The Cruel Prince, that one. And I think she wrote this before, and I don't know whether this is a YA or I don't think it's a middle grade. I'm pretty sure it is just like a YA, but it might lean quite young. But it is quite short and like it's a fantastic edition and it's vampires, so I decided I was going to give this one a go. If I am, I obviously want the beautiful like drippy red bloody edition. Like obviously that's what I want. Oh my god, is it time to pick up more books? Oh, I'm like not even halfway done. Okay, more Goldsboro. So this one is Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham, and I'm pretty sure this was the January book this year. But this one has these red and black stenciled edges. And I'm pretty sure this one follows a girl like from the slums or something, and I think her brother is murdered and she's now going to try and figure out like why he was murdered, who killed him, and she's uncovering like this plot that has something to do with like this weird city they live in. Yeah, something about some secrets can topple thrones and she'll have the power to change everything. So it seems like a fairly sort of generic, basic kind of fantasy book setup, but I'm assuming this is the first in a series. And it looks pretty interesting. I almost picked this up for a vlog, but as we know, my vlogs have not gone well lately. Oh god, okay. This book, controversial for my channel. It is Silver Under Nightfall by Rin Chupeco. And I will say, this is a lovely edition. I don't know if you can tell, the book is not white, it's this sort of like very, very faint, like lilac-y kind of colour, which I really like, and it's giving me big vampire vibes. I'm pretty sure this, yeah, I remember this, it has like a lovely like foiled dagger. But oh my god, this is written by the same author that wrote The Bone Witch, and look, if you were on my channel for any length of time a few years ago, you'll know that The Bone Witch is the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. I thought it was offensively bad. Like for me as a reader, I was offended that I was put through that. Yeah, it's genuinely the worst book I've ever read, and I keep saying I need to make like a whole rant review video and like why I hate it so much, but like I said I would never read anything by the author again. I did not anticipate being sent one of her new books. If this didn't have anything to do with vampires, I would not read it. I will give it a chance because it's supposedly, I think this is supposedly an adult fantasy. Is this her first foray into adult fantasy? I don't know, it doesn't tell me. Anyway, I guess I am now going to be ending up giving the author like another go. It does have a ribbon bookmark though, which is cute. I just wish anyone else had written this book. It is vampires, so I will give it a go on the basis that it is vampires and I already own it. But if those two things were not true, I would never be picking this up. Okay, the next book is another Goldsboro book that I've already unboxed. This one is a bit more recent though, I think. This is The Collarbound by Rebecca Zahabi. This is actually the second edition of this book that I own. I didn't know that this was coming in the subscription service because I try not to look at like what books are going to be sent to me. I like it to be a bit of a surprise. So I'd actually pre-ordered a copy of this, which I guess shows that, you know, sometimes a subscription gets my tastes dead on. This has like a lovely ombre sprayed edge as well, and I don't remember much, but I think it's something to do with the main character. I think the main character is a girl and she's like part of this like rebel magic society or something. I think magic is forbidden and the mages are rebelling, and look, we all know Dragon Age is like my favourite thing, so anything to do with like forbidden magic and like rebel mages, and I think this gave me like Dragon Age like Circle Tower kind of vibes. I definitely 100% want to read this, and now I have a lovely edition to do so. And the other edition I ended up giving away to a friend so that she can join me on my forbidden magical journey. So this next one is from The Broken Binding, and I do not know what it is. Honestly, the Broken Binding come out with so many special editions, like, I need them to slow down for the sake of my wallet. God, more bubble wrap, please stop. But like, look at the presentation. Look at the packaging, this is lovely. I have some free bookmarks, and this one says, I know R.R. Verdi. I'm pretty sure this is R.R. Verdi's new book. Let's just enjoy unboxing this though. Oh, I should have noticed, it actually tells me what the book is. Wow, okay, this book is way chunkier than I thought it would be. But this is the Broken Binding edition of The First Binding by R.R. Verdi, and I love the cover. I love the pink vibes with the black sprayed edges. You all know plain black sprayed edges are my favourite sprayed edges. I think they look so good. This also comes with like a little yellow ribbon bookmark and... ooh! Sorry, it's just that the signature is in like literally my favourite colour. Love that for me. Instead of foiling, you actually have like a full quotation down the spine. I think that's lovely. So this says it's about a storyteller and a singer on the run, both hoping to find obscurity in a tavern bar. The sins of their past are not forgotten and neither are their enemies. Their old lives are catching up with them and it could cost them the entire world. This honestly is like, it's such a stunning edition. Like, I love this. And the little like rhyme sequence that was on the spine was very captivating. It spoke to me of like, I don't know if they're like gods or demons or something like that, but very much my thing, very much my vibe. I'm really glad that this came out in a special edition because I don't know if I would have noticed it otherwise, and it definitely seems like my kind of book. Okay, I can just fit it there. I am running out of space. Okay, while I'm here we'll do another Broken Binding because that's what I can reach. And again, so much bubble wrap. We don't really do Christmas gifts in my family, but if we did, oh, I would have bubble wrap sorted. I think I know what this is because, yes, I do. Because there's 2 volumes, and again, packaging, lovely. Free bookmark. I have so many bookmarks now all of a sudden. I guess I'm gonna have like so many black ribbons as well, which as a goth is not an issue for me at all. So these books are by Stephen Arian, and book 1 is The Coward, with these lovely stenciled edges, and oh my god, the end papers are so gorgeous, and obviously some very cool foiling on the front. And book 2, The Warrior, again quote on the back, lovely foiling, really lovely end papers, and foiling on the front. So this is a really beautiful and pretty short duology actually. So I actually already owned book 1 but in paperback, and I think it was something about the main character is someone who previously like helped another group of people to like save the world or something, but they didn't actually do anything. They're praised for being like the only survivor and like this fantastic famed hero, but they were just kind of in the right place at the right time and didn't actually do anything heroic. And I think now that some evil is stirring again, they're expected to like take up that mantle once again, and they very much don't want to because they're not actually a hero. I think that is what that is about. If not, I've just given you a free book plot, so enjoy that. I might even be stuck in my room now. There are so many boxes everywhere. I'm already exhausted, but we must push on. Okay, we have more Fairyloot and more Goldsboro. Okay, so we'll do this one first, seeing as it's actually the one that I'm reading right now, which means I need to put the dust jacket back on. So, this lovely edition is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. Has these lovely sprayed edges, and as I've recently discovered, the good thing about this is because of like the lines of the scales and the sword, it's really good to judge how much of the book you've read by like how much of the stencil you're turning over. Anyway, this is the first in a new adult fantasy series, and it follows an Emperor's Justice, which is like basically like a wandering judge, like a Justicar, but they have kind of magical powers, such as some of them might have the ability to talk to animals, or to speak to the dead, or to command people, or read their minds, and they travel around dispensing justice, and the main character is the clerk to one of these justices, and it follows them as they basically stumble into this town and figure out that the wife of a wealthy noble has been murdered, and nobody knows who did it or why, and it's really suspicious, and they start an investigation. So it's a adult high fantasy murder mystery investigation. And I'm only part way through, nearly at the end, but it's pretty good so far. I've actually ordered book 2, which is also a special edition but doesn't come out for a while, so thankfully it's not part of this haul. Okay, I'm going to put this one here so I don't forget where it goes, because if I forget it, then how will I finish it? We all know what time it is. Fucking bubble wrap time. before I look at this edition, I just want to show you, like, all that for one book. That's too much. Like, look at it all. Like, won't somebody please think of the environment? Jesus Christ, what a waste. So this book is a naked hardcover and does not come with a dust jacket, but does come with that one kind of creepy spider, the one that was in the Harry Potter movies that I freaking hate because I freaking hate spiders. Is it a spider? Is it a scorpion? I forget what it is, but whatever it is, I don't like it. And then this kind of like, it gives me like South American type artwork vibes. So this is the actual start by Monica Byrne, and I thought it had black edges, but they're actually very dark. Oh, it shows way better on camera. They're actually just very dark green. There's no synopsis, but this has like either like Aztec or Mayan type like looking artwork inside of it, so I'm assuming it's either a fantasy or a sci-fi that has like South American mythological vibes as part of it. More than that I cannot tell you, because there's no synopsis. More Fairyloot books then. So, god, yeah, this one, very garish. Interesting to see how my camera will pick this up. So that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, and I do actually like the sprayed edges on this one with a quotation. If my camera would focus, that's great. This, I don't know whether this is necessarily the kind of book I would gravitate towards. Mainly because it deals, it's British. I just don't ever want to read anything British or American. Like, if it's set in England or America, I'm so not interested. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to have stuff to do with like British politics from the perspective of like an organisation of official witches. I feel like has the potential to be very interesting. I hate politics, especially those of which are British, because like I myself am British and it's not a fun time right now. So I feel like when it comes to like a nice escapist fantasy, this is not going to give me what I want. I do like the vibes of like the cover though. Interesting that it's not foiled, but I feel like this is really effective. Lovely design. Anyway, I think it's a really nice edition of the book. I think the original is pink with yellow and they've swapped it. I'm not a huge fan of the yellow, but I guess it's eye-catching. Saying that, I really don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm hoping it balances there. Oh, okay, this one looks like it has lovely stenciled edges though. And this is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. So this was originally an indie published book, and it's been picked up by mainstream press. It now has these beautiful stenciled edges, and I will say the original cover, which has like kind of gothic-y artwork of like I think the main character, is so much better than this. Like, whoever designed this book cover, not Fairyloot, because I feel like they've done the best they can. The original I think is just black. Fairyloot have given it like this bloody red hue and like this like lovely border effect. So I feel like they've genuinely done the best with this cover that they can, because they've made it a much nicer edition. But the original, it sucks so much ass. It's so basic, it's so boring. It doesn't really give me vampire vibes. It kind of gives me like period drama type thing, and so not as cool as like the original or even this. Like, I feel like they've done the best they can. So I'm actually really glad that I have this edition, because I think I might want this in hardback if I really enjoy it, and I would not want to buy like the trade hardback edition because it sucks. Another great thing about this though, it has lovely, again, character artwork. Again, I'm not a huge fan of seeing the actual characters, but I do really like the gothic vibes, and this has like a wraparound design of, I think it's Dracula's castle. I should probably say this is like a Dracula and Dracula's wives sort of retelling. So I think the plot of the story is basically exactly the same, except it's going to be told from the perspective of one of Dracula's brides. And I think there's like a sapphic romance. Again, I did say I want to read more vampire books this year, so I'm pretty glad to have this edition, even if I put it down here and you can't see it. Very shocked my camera battery has not died yet. Very suspicious about that, in fact. This is another one with beautiful sprayed edges. This is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. And one thing I have figured out about this edition is that I much prefer the original, because as I said, I love sort of greeny blue hues, and this is kind of like more of like a washed out colour scheme to match like the sprayed edges. I wish they'd kept it like this beautiful like teal kind of colour. So close to my favourite colour. Again, this one has pretty standard character artwork, but lovely foiling under the dust jacket. I think golden green. It gives me like very like witchy, earthy kind of vibes. Again, I think this is another one of those books that I'm never going to read, because while it is technically fantasy, Again, I really don't care about, I feel like this is definitely going to be set in either like America or the UK or something. And yeah, something about high school graduation, like you can't give me a fantasy book and then say the words high school graduation, because I'm out. I'm gone. I'm so far gone. So I really don't think this one is for me. It strikes me as maybe like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a contemporary love story with a vague sprinkling of fantasy, which I feel like a lot of Fairyloot books tend to lean a little bit that way, in that it's always like a modern contemporary fantasy. I'm just now realising, I think, does Fairyloot only do books from female authors? Because every single one of these books is a female author, and all but one are female protagonists, which is interesting. Anyway, while I have this out, the next special edition in my haul is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. And like I was saying, pretty sure this is a contemporary romance with some fantasy elements sprinkled in. It does have lovely sprayed edges, and despite the fact that I may be a goth, I will tell you, I actually really like pink and blue as a colour scheme. It's kawaii. It's very cute. I like it. Again, some foiling there, but again, I don't think this book is for me. It's giving big contemporary romance vibes. Like, the title is kind of like a pun. It's not for me, is it? It's for someone, but that someone is not me. Will it stay there? Let's hope so. I didn't even tell you what it was about, but like, contemporary romance vibes. I don't think I need to say any more. Okay, I've got to go get the multiple stacks of books that are in the other room, because they wouldn't fit all in my room. I've just realised before I do that, I have some very special editions. Okay, I think it's time that I finally unbox these, because I've been looking at these sat on my shelf and they look so good. Okay, so we're going to take a small break from the subscription box books, and we're going to do some extremely luxurious leather-bound special editions. So I basically picked up all of the Dragonsteel leather-bound Brandon Sanderson books. So the first of which is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and this is a lovely leather-bound edition with like these sprayed silvered edges. They have a ribbon bookmark, and all of these I think are partially illustrated. Again, on like the end page. I don't really want to like crack the spine just yet, but I ended up getting these because I backed the Kickstarter for Brandon Sanderson's like 4 secret novels. So I backed that on Kickstarter and decided that I wanted to receive all of those books, and I figured if I was getting those books in like the lovely special edition, whatever they come as add-ons, you could get his leather-bound editions, and these look so good. I'm sorry, these are like such nice high quality editions to have on your shelf. I watched several reviews and they all said they were fantastic quality. They really are. I love their designs. I think they look very unique, and I think they will all look wonderful on a shelf together, and they're so 3D. I can't stop touching the spine. It's all just has lovely binding. I'm sorry, I'm just like, I'm a sucker for the physical object sometimes. I think there might be one that has not shipped to me. I might need to double check that. It might have shipped to me. I might end up finding it in this haul. You never know. Next is Mistborn, and again, this just looks so lovely. I think I like this edition maybe slightly more than Elantris, but I think only because this one comes as like a set of 3. My camera finally died. Okay, I feel like I got a lot out of that battery. So yeah, again, I think I was saying this is like super shiny, and they're very, very heavy. I don't know if I could hold all 3 up at once, but again, lovely artwork. Now this package is super long. I'm pretty sure that this is like another Mistborn book, because it says it's from Dragonsteel. Oh, this one actually came with some free little stickers. I'm pretty sure this one's actually Warbreaker. Let us unbox Warbreaker first, and this is signed. I didn't know I got a signed copy. Okay, yeah, again, it's not just because it's purple, but like black and gold and purple, they're such like classic magical fantasy colours. Like, this is so stunning. Like, I love the spine. It looks like a little magical grimoire. It's so cool. I love the sword design. Like, hello, I'm wearing a sword, and like the gilded edges are like, they're so nice. Is this actually gilded, or again is this just like a weird chromatic kind of spray? It's beautiful either way. Fantastic like interior dust jacket work. They have like fantastic colourful end papers. Like, this is just, it's like this is such a stunning edition. I'm pretty sure this is my favourite so far. I don't know if it's going to remain my favourite because I've still got to unbox a couple more. So let me go see if I can find Like, where would I have put it? Where would I have put it? Well, I found one of them. This is the issue with leaving so many special editions to do at once, is that you lose track of, like, where they are and which ones you received. I'm maybe having a suspicion that the last Mistborn book hasn't been dispatched yet. That is the thoughts that I am having. I think I can live with, like, one fewer special edition for this haul. Okay, this one is The Hero of Ages. If I put these next to each other, you'll see, like, how fantastic these are going to look on the shelf together. They have, like, some subtle differences, but I really like just how much of, like, a lovely cohesive set these appear, and also very shiny. Okay, I do have two more. I realise this is, like, a lot of very expensive special editions all at once, especially between, like, Dragonsteel and Broken Binding, but I will say, I've done one book haul this whole year, so these really have just built up, and as I said, these have been coming to me, like, over the course of this entire year. So much so that, like, I didn't even realise that one of them has still yet to be sent, because it's been so long since I ordered them. So, that is to say, I do not just, like, go out and buy all of this stuff all at once. Like, this is many months, in fact, like, this is, like, nearly, like, it's over a year and a half's worth. Very odd, my camera battery just died again. We've entered bubble wrap hell yet again. And these are the beautiful slipcased editions, oh my god, of The Way of Kings, parts 1 and 2, because it's such a huge book, it's 2 volumes. And I love that these come in a beautiful cloth-bound slipcase with, like, lovely foiling on the side. Again, it's really hard to decide between, like, this and Warbreaker, like, which is my favourite edition, because I love blue, it's my favourite colour, and these are so cool. Again, beautiful gilded edges, lovely quotes on the back, again quotation on this one as well, and I feel like because there's 2 and they go together, like, they look so fantastic. I think it's hard to tell. I feel like as a pair these are really fantastic, especially because they come with a slipcase, but I feel like for individual design, I feel like Warbreaker is still my favourite, just based on, like, individual design. Okay, I can just kind of fit them in there, but this is to say, I feel like I really need to get started on, like, my, at this point, very extreme Brandon Sanderson read-along or something. I have a lot of catching up to do. I feel like as, like, a cohesive set of books all from the same author, this is like the best collection I have now, right? I feel like that's now the end of the Brandon Sanderson leatherbound interlude. Back onto my subscription books. I feel like we're maybe about halfway there. I've not been counting, but, like, we must have done more than 30 by now. Okay, more Goldsboro. I think I have 8 Goldsboro books left, I think. But I could be wrong. Who knows? I also think the only Fairyloot books I have left are all not the subscription books, which is concerning because has anybody noticed that I have not hauled the Fairyloot edition of Holly Black's Book of Night yet? Where is that book? The other issue with waiting to unbox all your books at once is that if one of them never gets to you, I'm sure that came out months ago and it's probably too late for me to send a complaint in because, like, where is that book? I don't see it. It's so not here. So I guess I'm just forever missing an edition of the Book of Night. Oh, do you know what this means, don't you? Bubble wrap hell. I'm sorry, but, like, Goldsboro's environmental footprint must be horrendous because there's so much fucking bubble wrap. Okay, so the next Goldsboro book we have is Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May. This is immediately giving me, like, 1920s kind of vibes, which is a vibe I do not vibe with. In a world of 1920s decadence and excess. It says romance, magic and murder, but, like, again, this is definitely set in America, isn't it? It might be set on a fictional island, but, like, it's 1920s America. No, and it doesn't have any foiling or anything either. It does have gold sprayed edges, but again, you can tell that, like, this is kind of like a gold spray paint, where compared to, like, the leather-bound editions, that almost felt like it was actually gilded. It's much more effective than, like, shiny spray paint. So, yes, I don't really know. I kind of can't be bothered to read the rest of the synopsis because 1920s, not for me. Slightly more room now, but I still feel like I'm gonna run out immediately. Okay, our next Goldsboro book is an absolute chonker. This is the embroidered book by Kate Hartfield, and I love the sprayed edges on this one. And again, some lovely foiling. So this looks like it's going to be a vaguely magical take on the story of Marie Antoinette, which honestly not something I was anticipating. But I feel like maybe if it was shorter I might give it a go, but this is a very big commitment for something that is maybe not like typically the kind of book that I'm interested in. Also, I have no idea why, but like the pages are like very rough and scuffed and like fraying on top of this book. Okay, let's just speed through it, come on. Okay, it looks like we have a sci-fi and another one with beautiful purple sprayed edges, this time in like a galaxy, like a nebula. So this is The Immortality Thief by Taran Hunt, and this has like some lovely foiling under the dust jacket. I think that's like a spacecraft of some kind. So this looks like it's about a criminal and a linguist, which immediately piques my interest. Anything to do with languages I tend to always like, or at least I'm always interested in. I think Babel showed I don't always like it, but at least I'm interested. So he has to decide between life in prison, voluntary military service, or salvaging data in a long-dead language from an abandoned ship filled with traps and monsters days before it's destroyed in a supernova. I feel like we know which option the main character is going to take, because can you imagine if it was just military service? Yeah, this sounds like a fun, maybe standalone sci-fi, maybe the start of a series, not entirely sure. Yeah, this piques my interest. This is definitely one that I will pick up and read. Very happy to have this lovely special edition, and oh, it has a bookmark as well, I didn't realise that. Okay, before I go and get even more Goldsboro books, I feel like this one is from Anderida Books. It is another sci-fi, and another very brightly coloured one at that. So this is the very shiny special edition of Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, and again, like, look at the sprayed edges on this. But this has like this beautiful, shiny, metallic, foiled cover, which I really, really love. I kind of wish that you could get like the rest of the series like this. Again, I love the end papers, these are so cool, and there's beautiful like fuchsia foiling on the front. So I think this is the first in it's either a trilogy or like a series. This is the first book, and I think it's called, is it called the Expanse series? It's very popular, and I have not read it. This says humanity has colonized the solar system, Mars, the moon, the asteroid belt and beyond, but the stars are out of reach. And after a crew stumble on a derelict ship, they find themselves in possession of a secret they never wanted. People are willing to kill for it, war is brewing. Looks like, just like, I'm guessing like a sci-fi space opera kind of deal. I totally forgot that I bought this. This came out so long ago, and like I said, all these books have been sat in boxes waiting for me to do this haul, and I'm glad that I have, because this is, I love that it's shiny. I'm just like, I'm such a sucker for shiny things, and as I'm discovering, I really like purple things. The last of the Goldsboros? I fucking hope they are. This has to be 2 books. There's no way this can be 1 book. I feel like this has also had the smallest amount of bubble wrap on it as well. Also, I'm now slightly pissed off. I will have a small rant about Goldsboro in just a second. Not that this video is long enough already, but like, the first book in here is this Goldsboro special edition of The Queen's Assassin by James Barclay, and again, black sprayed edges. They're just the best sprayed edges. So this says that society, as led by the Queen, has long held that this certain group of people and their abilities are just inherently evil, but the main character is one of these people in hiding, using her powers for good. It sounds like she's using her powers as like a healer on the battlefield, which is a concept I like. So yeah, this is not part of their subscription. This was just like a standalone sort of book that you could purchase, and so I purchased it because it has black sprayed edges and it sounds interesting. The other book in here is, I think, my favourite book of 2022, and that is The Cuckoo by Leo Carew, with these fabulous black sprayed edges, and it looks so good with them, even though these are like, I don't know if you can really tell on the camera, but like, these are very scuffed and drippy looking, which is weird because I sprayed The Wolf, the first book in this series, myself, and it came out flawless, so like, step up your game, Goldsboro. But like, yeah, I don't think there's anything special about this edition other than it's sprayed and signed. Yeah, this is the third and final chunky ass book in the Under the Northern Sky series by Leo Carew. This is a fantastic conclusion to what is now one of my all-time favourite fantasy series. It's like a low fantasy, and I've talked about it so much on my channel as like in the past couple of years, but I'm not going to rehash it here. If you've seen any of my videos, you know what this series is about. All I will say is just go look up The Wolf. If you haven't read it already, it's so worth reading, and this is a fantastic special edition. What I will rant about, I bought several books on the same day. This one was a pre-order that I think got a little bit delayed. It was meant to come out around about the time that the book did, and then it got pushed back, I think, to the end of the month rather than like, I think instead of September, it was meant to come out at the start of October, and I think it came out around Halloween time. And this one, this was not a pre-order, this was just like stock that Goldsboro had, a book that they had in stock, and I think it might have been slightly discounted because it was like leftover stock. Tell me why Goldsboro charge basically £5 shipping per book, but yet they sent these to me together in the same box with the same amount of like packaging and shit, which like, why am I paying £10 for like these books to come in the same box? But also, why did you wait to ship this one with this one when I've paid for separate shipping? I'm sorry, but that's kind of scummy. They've done it to me several times before where I've paid for separate shipping on every single individual book in the order, and they don't ship them out until the pre-order comes into stock, and then they ship them all in the same box. And it's like, if I'm paying for separate shipping, you better send those out like as and when they're ready. Do not wait. Like, I'm sorry, that's just bad business. Like, permit me my 30 seconds to rant about it. Okay, moving on to, this is another Goldsboro box, but like, it looks different. So like, why is this one, I mean, I thought that one was a subscription one because it came in the subscription box, but like, this one has different packaging. Okay, this one is a subscription book, and this, I think, is the subscription book from Goldsboro that I have been most excited to get. I was sat in the Burley Hall Refectory when I got the email telling me that this book was going to be the December subscription box book, and oh my god, it's just as pretty as it looked in the email. I don't normally check them, but I was bored at a stately home, so I was checking my emails. And I'm so glad I did because I've been really hyped for this one. So this is City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. First of all, this, like, the dust jacket is absolutely stunning. Hellfire and steampunk kind of vibes, I'm not entirely sure. Again, have this, like, lovely design. The amount of detail that's on these sprayed edges is actually quite impressive. Oh, and this one, oh, look, this one actually does have like beautiful foiling, which not all their books have, and it says there has always been a darkness to Ilmar, and there's like, I don't know what the deal with these dudes is, but like there's like a little demon looking guy up here. It's so my vibe. I'm loving this. I definitely want to get to this one soon. Let me just see exactly what it's about, because like, there's always been a darkness of the city. It chafes under the heavy hand of the Palatine occupation. I don't know what any of these things are. The chokehold of its criminal underworld, the boot of its factory owners, the weight of its wretched poor, and the burden of its ancient curse. Despite the city's refugees, wanderers, murderers, madmen, fanatics and thieves, the catalyst as always will be the anchor wood. This sounds honestly fascinating, and this is a fantastic, beautiful edition. I think, like, just because of like the beautiful cover, the exceptional sprayed edges, the foiling, I feel like this is probably like the most complete special edition Goldsboro has put out. I'm really glad for, like, this is a fantastic edition and a book that I am very interested in picking up, and I don't think I would ever have heard this if it were not part of my subscription, so I'm very thankful for it. Oh, how are we not done yet? Tell me why this one had all this wrapping paper and then now has a second layer of wrapping paper. Please! Okay, yeah, so this one looks like it's another subscription book because I don't remember buying this. So this is All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. Again, lovely sprayed edges with like a leafy vine kind of design. Nice end papers, but like no foiling or anything. So what is this about? Okay, the tagline for this says, "You fell in love with the victors of the Hunger Games. Now prepare to meet the villains of the Blood Veil." Don't tell me how I did or did not react to the Hunger Games, I'll tell you that now. So this says, after the publication of a salacious tell-all book, the remote city of Ilvernath is thrust into the spotlight. Tourists, protesters, reporters flock to its spell shops and historic ruins to witness an ancient curse unfold. 7 families name a champion to compete in a tournament to the death, blah blah blah, the prize is something. I'm getting bored just reading. Unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit bored reading the synopsis. This strikes me as like, it's like a YA magical battle royale, I guess, but I feel like battle royales are just not as grim as the original battle royale. I don't know, I might pick this up. It's kind of short, but when you say like 7 families, does that mean I have to go through a whole bunch of introductory chapters learning about these 7 families and then like 7 obviously competing characters that I'm gonna guess like 5 of them I'm not gonna care about and they're not gonna be important. That's kind of the vibe I get. I'm so sorry if that's not what it is, but it's a nice edition. I just might not keep it. It's gonna be a really fucking small book if this bubble wrap doesn't end. Okay. Yeah, this one is not a subscription book, but it is the sequel to a book that came in Goldsboro subscription. So this is Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments by T.L. Hutchew. So I hold the first book in this series, which I don't remember what it was called, but I remember the plot was something like, it's set in Edinburgh, which at least is not quite as boring as like England or America. And it followed a girl who could like, I think she was like a paranormal investigator, but like she could see ghosts or talk to ghosts or something. Something library. Is it like the Library of the Dead or something like that? The Library of the Dead, yes. And I technically have this signed twice because the signature has transferred onto the other paper in reverse. There's nothing on the dust jacket, but like, it is a very pleasant yellow. So I have not read The Library of the Dead. It's a beautiful aqua sort of teal colour. And I figured that just in case I do read it and love it, I wanted book 2, which has these like interesting map design, like ordnance map design, like sprayed edges. So I picked this up. I still don't remember exactly like the plot of the first book, and Edinburgh's not a place that I'm like massively familiar with. I am extremely familiar with Glasgow, and I will never set foot in that city again in my life. I lived there for 3 years. I will never go back. I did my time in Glasgow. Very sorry if you're from Glasgow, for multiple reasons. But yeah, I feel like I might end up really liking the first book depending on like how it plays out, because I remember the magic, or like I think the culture the magic was based on, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was definitely something that I hadn't seen done, at least in a book that I've read before. So I remember being intrigued. Okay, next I found an Illumicrate book to unbox. So I recently signed up for goodness knows why. I signed up for the Illumicrate like monthly book only box. So I don't know whether I think they're a mix of like adult and YA, and I think they're a mix of, I don't know whether they're all fantasy or not. They seem to lean fantasy-ish, but I don't know. I mean, at least if they send me a random ass dystopian book, I won't actually be able to like be disappointed about it. I believe this is their December book, and I kind of wish I'd managed to get the November one, because it was the Luminaries, and I wasn't interested in picking that book up until I saw the amazing Illumicrate edition, which I kind of wish I had now, but hey ho. So the December's book is called The Red Scholar's Wake, and immediately it's giving me like sapphic space opera vibes, which I feel like it might be. It's giving me YA vibes as well, but I could be wrong. I feel like I got this in a Fairyloot book before, but like, I feel like the author's signature, if it's on like a little tip-in plate, I feel like you should stick it in. Like, don't give it to me to stick in, because I'll stick it in wrong. I imagine it's meant to go on this page, so I will put that in there so that I don't lose it. It looks like the main character is a bot maker, data analyst, mother and scavenger. It is immediately interesting to me because I say a lot that like having older women or mothers as protagonists of like sci-fi and fantasy novels is something that I wish we would see more of. We tend to see like a lot of fathers, especially in like fantasy and stuff, like a lot of old men who have had families or had children, but it's very rare that you get like, it seems to me like people think that once a woman has a child, like that's it. I like that this book is taking that and actually doing something with that kind of character, and again the foiling on here is lovely. I don't know if I showed you the sprayed edges, but they're this beautiful blue ombre, and I think it says as well this book has a sentient ship, which is the leader of the infamous Red Banner pirate fleet. And married? Is this sentient ship married? I'm gonna have to read this just to figure out what the hell is going on in this synopsis. A sentient ship in a monogamous committed legal relationship? Excuse me, confusion. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read this just to figure out what the frick is going on. But yeah, this is the Illumicrate December book. Definitely piqued my interest. I don't think I would ever pick this up normally, especially because of the cover gives me like YA vibes, but now that I've got it and I've read the synopsis, I will probably at least give this a go. We are like quadruple stacking right now, so. Okay, this next book is a very gorgeous special edition, and it's not from any subscription service. This I think is from, it's either Orbit or Hachette, I'm not entirely sure. But this is the special slipcase edition of The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. I love that we've got like this green and gold thing going on here. I think I said for a book earlier, like it's a fantastic colour scheme. I love this sort of like rich, earthy, very, very shiny. It has a quotation passage on the back. Ooh, it has a beautiful map. And it's not illustrated, but there are like chapter header illustrations. And I think this has a foreword from, is it Brent Weeks? Yeah, this is just a lovely, I think it might be like an anniversary edition or just like a regular special edition that they brought out for the first book in the Wheel of Time. I'll be totally honest, I have every intent to collect the full series in mass market paperback, just because I like those editions the best. So like they don't always have to be special editions, but I did just want to get this one. I don't know if they're releasing like the whole series as special editions like this, but I did at least want to have like one nice edition that wasn't like a kind of grotty, beaten up secondhand mass market paperback, at least of the first book. This is definitely Fairyloot, and I'm slightly concerned because it's very greasy and sticky underneath, so I hope that has not somehow got inside like the actual books, but I'm assuming it will not have. So this, I'm guessing, is like a special edition set, and there are a couple that I've ordered, and there's one goddamn Fairyloot special edition set that I'm still hunting for. Kind of does feel a bit like Christmas, except for the fact that like I don't actually get Christmas gifts anymore for the most part. Like I've grown out of it. My family don't really get me gifts anymore, apart from like occasionally parsnips or sometimes socks. So this kind of feels like my own version of Christmas. Okay, yeah, I know what these are. I just have nowhere to put them. See, at least like the amount of bubble wrap on these is like not ridiculous. The next books in my haul are the Diviners series by Illumicrate, and this is the special Fairyloot set edition. So that includes Book 1, The Diviners, Book 2, Lair of Dreams, Book 3, The King of Crows, and Book 4, Before the Devil Breaks You, which makes this 4-book set a tetralogy. And they all have beautiful black sprayed edges, which is just perfect for me. So I'll hold up the first book, but yeah, I really, really love the designs on these, the sort of art deco kind of like vibes. This is not a series that I was like initially drawn to, but it's been very popular for quite a number of years on BookTube, so it was one of those where even though, because again I feel like it's set in, is it like 1920s America? Which I've already said multiple times in this video that is not like my thing, but I think it's like a paranormal like YA, and I think the first book might be a mystery. I believe it follows a girl who has some sort of like paranormal or maybe psychic type powers, and I think she gets sent to live with her uncle who might be doing some sort of investigation of some kind. I'm not entirely sure, but it goes from there. Do these have foiled? I bet these have beautiful foil designs on them. They do. I'm not going to go through the whole set. I'm assuming, do they just have like foils of what's on the front? Yes, they do. So the foils on the books just correspond to like the little design on the front. Oh, I've so run out of room. I'll put the first one up, but like I can't fit any more anywhere. I'm surrounded by books. So I think this series has had like several like dust jacket style changes over the years. And so I think this is probably like the first time you can actually get like a matching 4-book set in hardcover with like all matching covers, and I really like what Fairyloot did with these because they're kind of very reminiscent of the original covers, but with a little bit extra and shiny, which we all know I like. Okay, I feel like I'm starting to look like really disheveled now. This is more books than I can handle. And the next set is from Illumicrate, and it comes with a little letter, which I do not have time to read right now. But this is another beautiful special edition set. So book 1, Gideon the Ninth, with like honestly some of the best, like most beautiful foiling I've seen on a book. Book 2, Harrow the Ninth, which has silver foiling. And book 3, Nona the Ninth, which has this beautiful purple foiling. And all 3 books have this wonderful like sprayed stenciled edging. And I really like that this skull here is wearing, I think, aviators. So I think this is called the Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Ware. And I did actually already own an Illumicrate special edition of Gideon the Ninth, but I don't think they came out with other special editions, so this set now finally matches, and I guess I'll have to decide what to do with my like original black sprayed edge edition, which to be honest I'm still very fond of because black sprayed edges, but I feel like the set kind of trumps that. So I have mainly heard this described as like lesbian necromancers in space, and that seems to be like the tagline that everyone gives it. I don't really know very much more than that. I did once try to read this, but it was definitely not what I wanted at the time, so I didn't continue with it. But I feel like this is a series that I could definitely really enjoy. It's meant to be like a fun, campy sort of like gothic space opera or something, which seems like it should really be my thing. So obviously I wanted to get the set, and this is like a lovely matching special edition set. I feel like it's now time for some broken binding. There are definitely special editions that now I don't know where they are. Like, I thought they were all in the same pile. I have unboxed so many special editions, and yet some of them are still not here. Much confusion to be had. Anyway, God, now I just have like another kind of packaging to deal with. I feel like I could start my own like protective packaging business at this rate. So again, I really like the presentation from Broken Binding. I've had some slight issues with this company, but like, I cannot fault them on their presentation, and thank you for the bookmark yet again. So this beautiful special edition is Essex Dogs by Dan Jones, and this I think is a historical fiction, which is absolutely not something that I traditionally pick up, but like, these sprayed edges are just like amazing, and I have heard fantastic things about this book, and it doesn't seem too far out of my comfort zone to stretch from like fantastical knights into like realistic medieval warfare. So this, I believe, follows a group of men, a group of soldiers from Essex, and I think they're going over to France to fight in one of many medieval wars that we fought with France, please don't ask me. And this just kind of struck me as something that I wouldn't normally pick up, but I'm not totally opposed to reading slightly outside of my comfort zone sometimes, and this is kind of, I don't know, I just like medieval warfare and history and that sort of thing, so I feel like this is probably going to be enough my thing where like I can overlook the fact that there are like no dragons and no magic. Like, it's totally fine, right? At what point do you guys think my shelves will like just fall down? Anyway, we have another beautiful special edition. So this is Citadel of Forgotten Myths by Michael Moorcock. And again, like, with a sword, like, I'm matching this book. I love the sprayed edges, obviously. And the foiling on this one, this, like, beautiful, like, is it dragon scale? I know it's scales, but, like, is it dragon scales? So this, I think, is the latest edition in the Elric saga, which is not a book series that I have actually started on yet, but I have such a backlog of, like, sci-fi and fantasy books that I want to get to that if somebody brings out a special edition, even if it's not for, like, a book that I'm about to read, I still want to buy that special edition, because I know I'm going to want it when the time comes, and I love this sort of like eerie ghostly green colour. It looks fantastic. I don't usually tend to like character artwork on books and book covers, but I think this looks very striking, mainly because I just really like the green. And I've just noticed that there's like little extra like sprayed stenciled edges on like the top and bottom as well. Okay, now this one's confusing. Let me just show you how I opened this book. What was the point of just like putting the bubble wrap underneath? I don't need this. Please stop giving me bubble wrap. It's getting to be like a joke at this point. So this is Broken Binding's special edition of Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. I have such a history with this book, and I haven't even technically read it, but I still have a history with this book. So again, look at the beautiful sprayed edges. This is the main reason I got it, because I love corvids. This is signed on a very nice dedication page, and the book surprisingly is white but has this lovely foiling. So again, this is the first book in Mark Lawrence's, I don't know what the name of the series is, but it's Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, Emperor of Thorns. I have a copy of it. I initially said I would never read this series, but I feel like I'm eventually going to give it a go. I feel like I did once read the beginning of this book for free as an ebook that may or may not have come with a mobile phone that I got as a child. This sounds like the weirdest, most made-up story, but I genuinely had, like, there was an app that came with my phone, and it was, like, a free library app, and I'm pretty sure people could just upload, like, their own, like, shitty ebooks, and either Mark Lawrence had uploaded a version of, like, an early draft, maybe, perhaps, of this book, or somebody else had ripped the ebook and uploaded it, but, like, this is kind of in the days before, like, ebooks were really a thing, because I was still a child, so I feel like it might have been, like, on an LG chocolate, maybe? Like, that's how long ago we're talking. So, I remember I hated the introduction. I thought it was so, like, even at, like, I couldn't have been older than, like, I might have even not even been a teenager yet. I'm trying to remember how far back this was. Like, I may have still been a preteen at this point. And so I don't know if this book was published at that point or not, but even then I remember it being, like, edgy try hard and very uncool. I don't know, I feel like I probably should give it an actual go at some point, because maybe it was an early draft, or maybe it was just the actual book but like stolen and uploaded. But either way, I have this very beautiful edition now, so I'm now bound to read it at some point. Do you know what you won't see though? This book, because I have nowhere to put it. This video really is the books start coming and they don't stop coming. I've literally been filming for like over 3 hours at this point. Like, let it end. Have I been sent a second copy of the same book? Let's find out. I'm gonna like only open this a little bit. Tell me why I have 2 copies of Essex Dogs. I definitely didn't order 2. It definitely says quantity 1. So I will have to contact them. I'm not gonna open this one. I will have to contact them and let them know. Like, I did definitely, yeah, it's right here. Like, I don't know how. I don't know how. But I will have to send that one back. I'm not just gonna keep a second copy. That'd be really shitty of me. If it was like from Amazon or something, yeah, I would keep it. But like, I feel like somebody else deserves to have this nice edition. And I only paid for one and it's kind of expensive. It's like £23 for a book. So like, I'm gonna send it back. I thought that maybe they hadn't sent me something else from that order, but I've already unboxed the other item from that order, which was Prince of Thorns. And the other 2 items in that order, which I'll spoil for you now, it's Godkiller and the Texcalan duology. Both of those have not been sent yet because they're not actually out yet. Interesting development. Okay, so I may have found another box from Goldsboro, and here is one of the books that I was knowing that I was missing. This is The Garden of Empire by J.T. Greathouse. The reason I got this, even though I've not read book 1, is just because look at the colour of it. Again, I can't believe this video has been turning into somebody who likes the colour purple, but like, I couldn't resist this like beautiful, like, it's not quite pastel, but it is a superbly beautiful edition. I don't know if this has any foilings or anything, but it is very purple. So this is book 2 in the series. Book 1 is The Hand of the Sun King, which I unboxed quite a while ago. Don't know how that's possible because I feel like I've been doing this haul for my entire life. But yeah, so because this is book 2, I'm not going to risk spoiling myself, but it's an Asian inspired like high fantasy, I'm pretty sure. Okay, oh my god. Next is a gigantic box. Oh my god, not my bubble wrap, please. Okay, so next I have a special edition set of what I believe is called the Lycanus trilogy by James Islington. So that's book 1, The Shadow of What Was Lost. And then I think book 2 is An Echo of Things to Come. And book 3, The Light of All That Falls. So these are, of course, all sprayed. The reason I have these in special edition is because these were so difficult to find, like, a matching set in hardcover. I have a hardcover set of these books, but they're all, like, apart from book 3, books 1 and 2 are pretty badly beaten up. Like, they're pretty grimy, and they don't match because, like, book 1 has, like, a coloured spine and the rest are white. And book 1 has deckled edges for some reason. They didn't match. They needed to match. So these all have fantastic designs. This is book 3. Like, just look at the foiling. That's superb. Book 2, again, beautiful. And book 1. And these are just really stunning editions. I think this is becoming like quite a well-known and quite a well-loved fantasy series, and so it's definitely one that I really want to pick up. As I said, I had hauled the series already, so like I really have been meaning to pick this up. It is very chunky and I'm trying to finish more series than I'm starting, but I knew that I wanted this special edition set because like when I eventually get around to reading this, like I really just want to have some nice editions. Okay, that's it. I'm pretty sure these are definitely the last books, and they're very heavy. I think we have 2 more from Broken Binding, and then the last set I think is from Fairyloot, so close to being finished. Okay, again, I love their presentation so much. It's just like, I know I've said it like so many times in this video, but it's because I've unboxed so many of their books in this video. Okay, and this is a beautiful bound up edition of Pillars of Peace by Tom Dumbrell. So this is the completed collector's edition, and once again, beautiful black sprayed edges. The cover for this is just like wonderful, but the foiling underneath is just so pretty. So this, I believe, is a bind up of 2 books in one. So this is like both books. I think it's a duology. They're now together in just one single volume. One very heavy, chunky volume. So this is about a storyteller frustrated by village life and a prince struggling to meet high expectations. There's a royal assassination, the country is thrown into war, and I think whatever is happening is bringing both of these 2 young men closer together. More than that, I don't really know, but this isn't even a series that I've ever really heard of before, but I thought this was a fantastic bind-up edition, and it sounded like the kind of thing that I would really like, so obviously I was going to pick up a copy. Okay, I think I know what this one is. I was not built to hold a whole hardcover series in one hand at once. Okay, so I'm assuming these books are wrapped in the right order, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, I think they are. So there is book 1, Children of Time, with these absolutely insanely gorgeous like blue nebula sprayed edges, not to mention end papers, all the foiling. Then book 2, Children of Ruin, which is this fantastic purple with the same on the end papers and beautiful purple foiling. And the last book, which I believe just came out, is Children of Memory. This one with this like pinky orange nebula and the orange foiling. And all 3 of these are by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So I'm not going to hold those up because I don't hate myself that much. But I believe the series follows like, I think it's something about humanity has gone to colonize like another planet, but something's gone awry and it's resulted in giant intelligent spiders running the planet. Sounds like my absolute worst nightmare, to be honest. I've heard very good things about the series, which you wouldn't think because I do not like spiders, but it's one where I definitely wanted to try it out at some point, and then these beautiful special editions came along, so like, you knew I was going to buy them. And then the last gigantic box, which I'm pretty sure this is the last thing I have to unbox today, and that is the Green Bone Saga by Fonda Lee. So that's book 1, Jade City, book 2, Jade War, and book 3, Jade Legacy. And they each have a little stencil on the pages. And those are the Fairyloot editions. So this was a series that I was not planning to get. Like, I figured it probably wouldn't be my thing, but I have heard nothing but good things about this series. So many people swear by it, and some people say that it's like one of their favourite like series ever. Kind of came as a shock to me because I didn't get those vibes from it, but like, if enough people say it's like basically one of the best things they've ever read, you know I'm gonna pick it up, right? So I don't know a whole lot about the plot other than I think it's kind of something to do with jade as a substance. I don't know whether it has magical properties, but it's sort of like the most like important valuable substance in this world. And I don't know exactly whether it's a sci-fi or a fantasy. I've heard it said to be a fantasy, but I don't know whether it's futuristic. I know there are guns, but I don't know whether it's set in the future or like an alternate universe. I have no idea. All I know is so many people have said it's so good, so I'm gonna figure out whether I think the same. I guess that's my haul. I've been filming for like close to like 4 hours now. I'm so dead. So I definitely don't know what to do with myself now. What do I do with all these books? Oh god, I wish I had the space to take like a thumbnail where it's like me and all 60 something of these books and boxes just piled up. Like, can you imagine? I don't think it'll fit in the thumbnails, my dudes. Like, I don't think that's gonna work. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, comment a book stack emoji. You know the one. Comment multiple, honestly. I almost feel like a little bit bad about this video because it's like, I feel like when I open books like this all at once, I know in my head, I know this is like a 1.5 years worth of hauling books and not actually like hauling them in a video and just like leaving them sat in their little boxes because I have nowhere to put them. But when you unbox them all at once, it really seems like a lot of books. It's definitely more than I was expecting. I didn't think it would take me 4 hours. I thought, you know, 2 or 3 hours maybe, but like, anyway. I'm not going to endeavour to make this video any longer than it already is. If you made it this far, honestly, congratulations. Does somebody want a free copy of Essex Dogs? I'm sending it back, I promise. But like, still, I feel like I owe you guys some sort of prize or something. Like, congratulations, you made it this far. Other than experience points, I have nothing to give you. Anyway, that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been my biggest haul ever, and I literally cannot believe that pretty much every single book in here is like a signed, sprayed, foiled, leather-bound, special-ass editions. What the hell? At the rate I'm going, I feel like I'm going to have more special editions than regular editions on my shelves, which I'm not complaining about, but like, I really feel like I have to go and clean up. You cannot imagine the mess I'm seeing in front of me. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these boxes. Because the bin men come early at Christmas and I don't think they're coming till January now. And I have like 60 boxes to throw away. And I will suggest maybe subscribing if you would like to see more like this. But like, this is the most this is ever going to be. But for other future hauls, and there will definitely be future hauls, just nothing like this, then yeah, maybe consider sticking around. So with that said, I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see some of you guys in the next video, if I can make it out of my room alive. Bye!